Pacers stepped away from the idea of trading Russell Westbrook and draft capital for Miles Turner and Buddy Hield. However, Turner says the Lakers should revisit the idea of trading for him. This was on the Woj podcast. The center said, look, I provide leadership, shot blocking, three-point ability, and playmaking. Shannon, could this happen?
I doubt it. Miles Turner clearly doesn't want to be in Indy any longer. He's going to be wanting a contract, and they seem to be unwilling to give him the contract that he's seeking. Skip, they had all offseason. It's just hard for me to see them, especially now, since they put Russ in a new role. He seems to be accepting of that role. He seems to be flourishing in that role. I hardly think they're going to revisit this anytime soon. They want to see another 10, 15 games of Russ playing in this role. Okay, is this a new home? Is this something that we can build on? So now I think it's less likely. We understand who Miles Turner is. He's a two-time block champ. He normally shoots around 34, 35% from the three, although he's down this year, shooting 27% from the three. But he's missed 65 games between 20 and 2022. And so he's only played 3 games this season. So, look, the last thing they need is another injured big man. We deal with AD every time he jumps up, is that he grabs his back and he moves like he 28, but he moves like he's 58. That is true. And so for me, Skip, I don't see it happening. I doubt it's going to happen if it were to happen anytime soon, but I don't see it happening now because you had the entire offseason to get something done. Now you put Russ in a new role. He's kind of thriving in that role. And I know, Skip, it's only 2 games, but this is the happiest and the freest I've seen Russ play in a long time. So I think they're going to probably ride this out for a little while.
Which is why I'm with you. It feels like this trade is way off the table because all of a sudden he has turned into Russell West bench. All of a sudden, it looks like he's, at least early on his way to winning 6th Man of the Year. Yep. So he has a new goal. I'll be the 6th Man of the Year. I'll be the next Manu Ginobili. I will come in with the expectations, especially at home, to ignite instead of people gasping and saying, no, don't shoot. It'll be like, yeah, Russ is in the game, right?
Applaud him,
Maybe, 6 minutes left in the first quarter, somewhere mid-first quarter. Here he comes.
Yes.
And here they go. Off to the races. And it looked like Russ balked at the roll and pouted over the roll when he got thrown into that last preseason game. Right. And then all of a sudden, Darvin Ham convinced him, just try it. Embrace it one night and let's see what happens. And he did. And he still did a lot of Russell Westbrookian kind of things, like wild turnovers. And
I guess not, Skip. He's found a way to get warm since he's not starting.
I don't
Remember
know how
before,
he did that.
He didn't know what to do.
No, he said he didn't. But I think he used the exercise bike up in the tunnel. I don't know, but he did it. And especially the other night, he ignited. And the most stunning stat of the year for the Lakers so far is that against Denver, again, at the Crypt, at home, Russell Westbrook led the whole game with a +18, and LeBron was a -1. You can make the case that Russell Westbrook actually saved LeBron from going, what would that make him, 0-6, right? Saved him from going 0-6 because LeBron came out flat, missed his first 4 little layup shots underneath the basket, and then had a wild 3 miss at the end of the half. And you look up and, wait a second, they have stormed back, and they are taking control of the game. And they continued to storm all through. And it was led mostly by Westbrook. I thought Austin Reeves played very well in his role, just going along.
Lonnie Walker came in and gave some big. Skip, and even though they lost the game, what was that, Friday night to Minnesota, he played well the first time coming off the bench. I thought he'd done an unbelievable job.
It was just wild because he still shot poorly.
Especially late. Like the later it got, the more he reverted back.
19, and he had 5 wild, sadly comical.
But he had 18 points. He's averaged 18 points, shooting 37% from the 3, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. As a starter, he was 10 points a game, 8% from 3. It had a -16 as a plus-minus.
What was the other night? 18, 8, and 8? 18, 8, and 8. That rolls off the tongue, right? Okay. And it looked like, I don't know how, but he got voted. He's a top 75 player, and most people think he's slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer. So if you can sort of, he's like reborn now in this new role, if you will, coming off the bench where he's found a second career salvation. Maybe, I don't know, maybe this is going to go. But all of a sudden, to me, even though this story caught fire last night, it just feels like it's starting to fade because Could you use Miles Turner and Buddy Hield? Sure, you could.
Because maybe Skip, maybe you could probably put Miles Turner in the starting lineup, play him at the 5, put AD at his natural position where he really and truly wants to play. He ain't really trying to bang with a Yoke, a Joel Embiid, or those big guys like that.
And Miles Turner, to your point, he will block some shots.
Yeah.
He had 2 blocks last night.
And Skip, the Lakers are really good. They're a good defensive team. So he could help them points and second chance points, rebounding. I think his 3-point percentage will come up. I don't believe he shoots 27% for the whole 3. I think he'll revert back to kind of where he was, like a 34-35% shooter. But I think now Rob Pelinka, Skip, because he said he wanted to see it by Thanksgiving. Okay, they put Russ in this role. I think now there's a reluctancy to do anything. Well, let's see how it works.
Yep.
We thought Russ was going to be in the starting role, but now we might have found a role for him, so this might work for us.
Okay, and as you know, we pointed this out 1,000 times. All that Jeannie Buss has left in her long-term vault are those 2 unprotected first-round picks, 27 and 29. 2027 and 2029. And the point is, if they're unprotected, they could be stars. They could be superstars. And the way Russ was going in the starting lineup, he'd become such a liability that if you give away those 2 picks just to get rid of $47 million and Russell Westbrook, then you could look 10 years from now, you could just look like fools.
Yeah, I agree, Skip. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're going to move him. I think they're going to keep him in this role. I think Russ thrives in this role right here. Now, where that takes them, I don't know. I don't think they're contending. Even with Russ in this role, I don't think they're contenders. The West is loaded. The NBA, I mean, even when you look at the East, it's still loaded. I just don't see them. I just don't think they have enough shooting. I think they can play defense good enough. I don't think they can shoot the ball well enough to contend.
Okay, the truth is, in the end, they're going to go as LeBron goes.
Yeah.
And what's he got left in year 20? I'm not sure.
Right.
I haven't seen explosion from him yet.
I see it in spurts. But, Skip, he's not – that's AD. They got AD. AD's supposed to be the top dog now. LeBron's supposed to be second. You know, hey, AD, you got this. Go on and get me 35, 40 tonight. And he's supposed to be able to take the night off and give you 15, 20. He can't take the night off.
Okay. Final points on Miles Turner. I love these quotes from yesterday on the Woj podcast. Miles Turner said, "I just feel like here in the Midwest, we don't get the love that I think we deserve." Okay, fair enough. But he goes on to say, "You are under a microscope out there in the West." Are you ever? You have no idea the microscope because you've never felt the microscope.
Nothing like this.
And he adds, playing alongside LeBron, I feel like he demands a certain level of excellency. Well, it's not that he demands it. Everybody demands it because they're saying he needs help. He's in year 20. Okay, you're on, Miles.
Right. Yeah.
Come and help LeBron. Okay, and the spotlight tends to go and melt the guy next to him.
Yes.
Ask Russ, if Miles Turner could sit down with Russ right now and get Russ on, like, lie detection, just blurt the truth, he'd say, stage? I grew up wanting to be on this stage, and all of a sudden this stage ate me alive. All of a sudden, playing opposite of LeBron as the scapegoat to the quote-unquote GOAT ate me up last year. My family was miserable. My wife was miserable. My kids were miserable. I don't know.
Skip, Miles Turner's never had to play with the expectations of be great on a nightly basis. Like you said, that's the Indiana. Okay, if you make the playoffs, fine. If you don't, that's okay, too. But that's not ever going to be the case when you're with the Lakers. And then you're playing beside a historically great player?
Hey, if you have an off game in Indianapolis, yeah, maybe you get some talk show blowback, but it's just not that big a deal. Nobody cares outside of the city limits of Indianapolis, or maybe within that confines of the state. But the point is, out here, everybody cares from coast to coast.
Yeah, Miles Turner have a 0 for 10 game in Indiana. It's only going to make the headlines in Indiana. You play alongside LeBron James and go over. Ask Russ. When he went 0 for 11 against the Clippers to see what happened.
Ask him. Hey.
Every talk show, not just in L.A., every talk show.
This stage here is be careful what you wish for stage. It's the ultimate, it's what underscores this stage. Be careful what you wish for.
That's why the greats, when they can play on a big, when you play, and this is not the knock on any, but when you play in New York, or you play in L.A., or you play for historically great franchises where the expectation, you play in Boston, that's a different level of expectations. You play in L.A., not only the market, but the team in and of itself. That's a whole different animal.
Then you throw the LeBron factor on top of the tradition of Showtime, and now you got issues, man.